And that is how I met you. I mean, how we ended up getting back up into space. Barely had finished recounting the flashback, and they were finally back in the present. Both Yuki and Cammy were covering their faces, having relived the embarrassment. Barely had to admit he enjoyed the scene, but things weren't completely settled. Sprinkles cleared his throat. It's good we know that, but what else happened? How did we end up here? Barely looked at his fellow trekkers. I suppose that wasn't enough to jostle your memories fully. It's not a long part of the story. We said our goodbyes to the moles, went up into space, and after some time of traveling received a distress call. We considered it being a trap, but we aren't the type to avoid a fight. The mandatory flashback is over. The scenes were back to the regular. The gang's all back together into the present, looking towards the future, taking these rare moments to relax and find their laughter, pretending for a second that they won't be made to suffer. Temperature is on the rise, things are getting hotter. Oh, this is their brightest summer. It was near a planet anyway, so we went, but found nothing. No trap, no distress. We were debating whether or not to land on the planet to investigate, when a large pillar of light shot out from the planet and locked onto us. We tried to fly away, but even with the power of the Mecca, Lord, we could do nothing but watch as we were pulled in. After that, even I don't know, I woke up in a simulation about my past, just like everyone else. They took in all the information. Yuki and Cammy were able to lower their hands after some time, though they were still blushing. Pixel spoke up first. There is one thing I would like to clarify. You mentioned to Cammy that knowing your past could very well erase her existence. But can it truly be that serious? How do you even know? The mandatory flashback is over. The scenes were back to the regular. The gang's all back together into the present, looking towards the future, taking these rare moments to relax and find their laughter, pretending for a second that they won't be made to suffer. Temperature is on the rise, things are getting hotter. This is their brightest summer. Barley sighed and ran a hand over his white fur, a question he was expecting but hoping would not happen. Now that it was asked, all attention was back on him. Even Yuki and Cammy seemed recovered once Pixel raised her concerns. He had no real choice. As you all know, my mother is a goddess, specifically from the moon. She's got all kinds of abilities of her own, but one of those is clairvoyance. She has prophetic visions. And well, I apparently wasn't supposed to exist. She and my father Barnaby were meant to be together, but a child was supposed to be impossible. But then I was born, so she did the only thing she could think of. She used her powers to peer into my future, my present and my past. The future and the present were fine enough, but when she glimpsed my past, she had to quickly shut off the connection, because her eyes had begun to bleed. Even as a goddess, even with the ability to handle the burden of causality, she could not bear mine, pun intended. She nearly destroyed herself looking into the past of a newborn child. The mandatory flashback is over. The scenes were back to the regular. The gang's all back together into the present, looking towards the future, taking these rare moments to relax and find their laughter, pretending for a second that they won't be made to suffer. Temperature is on the rise, things are getting hotter. Oh, Friday summer. If you like the video, give the video a like.